locked up for crimes they didn't commit for years or even decades. Forced to live without money the law says they're owed. Louisiana has a program to compensate these people for the years they spent behind bars after being wrongly convicted. But in recent years, many have struggled to get the money the state says they're owed. The reason why? Our investigation revealed decisions made by the Attorney General wasted taxpayer money and prevented the wrongfully incarcerated from receiving money the law allows them to receive. Tonight, we look back at our investigation, Double Injustice.
You were in prison for 38 years.
For 38 years.
At just 20 years old, a Jefferson Parish judge sentenced Malcolm Alexander to prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Has it been hard to adjust back to the world?
Well, yes, indeed. And believe it or not, my hand is being held like I'm a newborn baby.
The district attorney accused Alexander of committing rape after the victim identified him 4 months after the assault, after viewing hundreds of pictures and photo lineups. Alexander couldn't afford an attorney, so the court appointed him one.
So your attorney didn't make any opening statements?
No, sir.
He did not call any witnesses?
No, sir.
So how long was the trial?
Actually, the trial lasted 1 day.
1 day?
Yes, sir, 1 day. 1 day, the jury was picked, and from that day the jury was picked, it was the same day that I actually went to trial, and the same day I found guilty.
So they picked the jury, they had the trial, and they found you guilty all in 1 day?
Yes, sir.
Alexander spent the next 38 years of his life locked up, rarely able to see his family and hug his young son.
They took you away from him?
Yes, they took me. They took me away from my family. To be honest with you, they took me away from my family. I miss my family.
Nearly 4 decades after his conviction, Alexander became a free man again. DNA evidence proved he didn't commit the rape. Pubic hairs found where the rape took place did not belong to him. State law allows people wrongfully convicted to receive compensation, $40,000 for each year behind bars, capped at 10 years. For Malcolm Alexander, $400,000 from a taxpayer-funded account. The law says the conviction has to be reversed or vacated, and clear and convincing scientific or non-scientific evidence has to exist that proves factual innocence, meaning the facts show they didn't commit the crime. But even though DNA evidence cleared Alexander, nearly 5 years after his release, he hasn't received a dime.
It feels like I'm still fighting for my innocence.
The reason why Attorney General Jeff Landry's office has fought giving Alexander any compensation.
You come home with $10 in a bus ticket. That's all the state gives you when you get out of prison. You're thrown back into a world that you don't recognize. You are forced to work for your living despite having really no skills gained in prison. And having lost so much time. And that's not even to get into, the trauma and the stress that these folks go through transitioning back into society, for which the delay in getting compensation means they don't have access to resources to really help them with that.
And Alexander is not alone. Since taking office as Attorney General, Landry has fought nearly every case involving a wrongfully incarcerated person, trying to prevent them from receiving money the law says they're owed.
So the state is basically fighting almost every case now?
Yes.
The state legislature passed this law in 2005, and early on, the state attorney general's office only fought select cases, like when a petitioner was let out of jail on a technicality without proving their innocence.
Well, and there have been cases in the past few years that even when we were arguing to the Supreme Court, we said, yeah, this makes sense that a court would say, no, this person hasn't proven their factual innocence.
Since taking office in 2016, Landry has filed oppositions in nearly 85% of the cases where exonerated inmates filed for compensation. Comparing the National Registry of Exonerations list to court records, we found Landry has opposed 11 of 13 requests for compensation since taking office. Predecessor Buddy Caldwell filed oppositions in 9 of 27 cases, just 33%. But despite the legal moves, Landry hasn't been successful in court.